Damn. I'm curious on Plug Talk. So how many episodes deep are you guys? Because you got
40 maybe.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like if I were to start a podcast right now, I would have all my closest friends for like the first 20 episodes.
Yeah.
All the biggest, coolest guests. But I think Plug Talk, once you guys get up to like 150, are you just flying out people from Kuwait? It might run out.
I mean, you're gonna go into like a Boost
it's kind of tough because they
Mobile.
have to do like a really decent interview part. So we can't just have, like anyone on. We have to have people who've been kind of pre-vetted. They've been on other podcasts or we've talked to them in real life. We know that they're like pretty good on camera.
Although sometimes we have girls on and we're kind of like,
yeah, we cut the interview a little short.
This is 3 minutes. How's your day? For sure. Time to fuck.
Pussy, yeah.
But most girls, they just have to suck dick on camera or fuck or whatever. So there's not a lot of talking, but then they go on the podcast and they get, even girls who've been in the industry for a long time, they start to get really nervous because no one's expected them to talk so much in a porn before.
Interesting.
Even though they're just supposed to be themselves.
But also think about it. We got to do 52 girls a year. And granted, we're like still on year 1. But I mean, there's new girls getting into the game all the time. There's,
okay, that's true.
Sometimes we do scenes with chicks who realistically were like way more popping like 10, 15 years ago. And now they're like in their 40s, but we still do it because it's like the fans think it's sick.
I guess in my head, I thought that there'd be like this, like, how Joe Rogan's done like fucking 40,000 episodes. It's like, and I was like interviewing the guy who made a tripod and you're like, oh, okay, I'm sure there's other guests out there. So I'm like, I wonder for Plug Talk, if there's ever going to be like, is there ever a week where you're like, we gotta find somebody.
No, that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
And I do think that for certain guests, we'll probably just like have them back,
Yeah,
that's true.
Bring it back a couple years later.
Who was the very first one?
Adriana Chechik.
That's the first one we dropped, yeah.
Oh, she was in a video of my buddies.
Frequent podcast and YouTube appearances from her. She was great.
She's great.
How did this happen? I know you've been asked this a million times. How did this idea even come about? Sorry to make it so interview, but I'm just like,
Adam saw how much money girls make on OnlyFans and he was like, I want that.
The OnlyFans checks are nuts.
But it was more like it became a marriage of our two things. Like I was already doing OnlyFans and doing it really well. And he's done a lot of scenes with me, but he was like, how can we make this like a combined business?
So Vitaly Uncensored, are you familiar?
I know Vitaly, and so is Pranks, but just tits.
Yeah, like so his company that did his fucking site with him or whatever, like they were hitting me up to basically like try to convince me to partner with them to do like a no jumper uncensored thing or whatever, where we would have the girls take their tits out or whatever. And I was talking about it with Lena, where I was kind of like, I want to do this with you, and I think that we should do like sex. And that company was sort of like, we think it'd be better to keep it more softcore. And
Which
me and her were
so
talking.
weird to do when you've already been fucking online forever to like reel it back.
HBO, let's fuck.
Me and her genuinely enjoy having sex on camera and making this content and stuff. So it just sort of seemed obvious to us of like, I don't think we need a partner. Let's just make this content and put it on OnlyFans.
Yeah, you've made enough businesses and stuff, and both of you guys have.
Yeah, and we figured we could hire people to help us with everything. And I mean, we actually genuinely enjoy it, which I think is that's a big part of what people like about it, is that they can just tell that me and her are having a good time and that, it's not fake. Like, and I think that's part of what the conversation helps with, is the conversation makes it feel less fake because, if you watch us talk for a half hour, pretty good chance that the girl doesn't hate us, like so you would pick up on it, right? Which is like kind of the thing, is like if you watch an intro in a porn movie, like the acting part, I mean, do they like each other? You don't fucking know. It's acting, Like the podcast thing, I think, gives you a little bit more of a real dynamic, which to me, actually, that's the main thing with Plug Talk. If I was not the person making it, I think I would subscribe, and I think I would be very interested.
You wouldn't fast forward to the scene?
No, I like the idea of the conversation and then it leading to sex. Like, I think I would be a customer if I wasn't the one making it.
Have you ever had an episode, and you don't have to tell me specific, but have you ever have an episode where you like meet the person and you're like, I'm really not feeling like the first meeting, but then the actual conversation makes you be like, oh, I'm actually kind of attracted to this person?
Definitely.
Yeah,
for sure. Or like a girl who I think like maybe she's going to be like shy and we're not going to have a good chemistry, but then we're like totally freaky and crazy on set,
Yeah. I've heard real male porn stars say that if they're fucking a girl for the content, they can always find something that they're attracted to. Even if the girl is fucking hidious, they'll just focus in, or not their type. Look at the nice person here. They'll focus in on the
for like manicure,
patch
pedicure,
of skin on their back.
Yeah.
And just think about that patch of skin. Oh, and that will allow them to transport themselves. But I say that just to say, I could be fucking a girl on camera who I genuinely think is attractive, or I could be fucking a girl who I like her personality enough that makes me think she's more attractive.
He'd really fuck anything. He's lying.
Yeah, but the situation where you like don't like the way they look and you hate their personality, that can be difficult.
Wild.
But we haven't ran into that too much, you know.
Dude, how do you? So does a plug talk sort of? How do I articulate it? Like essentially in your marriage, right? You have like a. You guys are fucking obviously outside of like the plug talk, right? So do you consider like the plug talk fucking like part of the marriage fucking? Does that question make any sense?
It is nice when it's scheduled into our week and we didn't have time to have sex personally, and we're like, okay, well, at least we got to fuck on camera. If that happens for too many weeks in a row, then we're kind of like, all right, we're neglecting our relationship a little bit. And also, we get turned on by thinking about the scenes we did previously that week. So it's always nice to fuck alone and like sort of mentally recap what we did together on set.
Right, like in comparison, the other day I fucked the shit out of her while she was on her period, and it was like a fucking bloodbath. It was kind of like the shirt, actually.
But that's still on the shirt.
Yeah. No, this actually was from that. Yeah,
exactly.
That feels profoundly different. Where I'm like, I'm looking at your fucking eyes. We got the lights down low. We're in the bed, you know. Or
you're playing like, Bon Jovi in the background. It's getting nuts.
Yeah, exactly. No.
We actually listened to R&B
because we never listened to music. And
I was there.
My co-hosts on No Jumper, AD and T-Rail, they've previously given me shit like, "Oh, you don't listen to R&B." They're like, "Well, what do you listen to when you have sex?" I'm like, "Fucking nothing." The laundry machine, like nothing. You know?
Birds outside.
But so for some reason, like I was waiting for her to get done in the bathroom, and I thought to myself, I go to Apple Music, I type in sex playlist.
No.
Oh, they got him.
It came up with like the default R&B playlist. The first song was like Summer Walker. I don't remember who else, but
Summer Walker's great.
We're rocking out. We were having sex.
Your thrusts were different that night.
It felt a little bit
romantic,
didn't it?
Yeah.
Were you on beat? You are? Like
well, I used to fuck her to smoke perp all the time back in the day. I was
not lying.
Yeah.
But those are great because those songs are a minute 20. So you're going through the whole discography on repeat.
Back in the day, though, like our old school, like club night, like drug infused, alcohol infused, fucking like threesomes that we would have with random girls we had just met was very SoundCloud rap and bad and bougie. Because remember on YouTube, there was like a year period where every YouTube video you would watch, it would play bad and bougie afterwards.
Just that
I don't know how.
Algorithm pushing it.
But for some reason, like no matter how drunk I was, I would leap out of the sexual experience to go fucking click next because I was so over hearing bad and bougie.
Or if you had to hear the ads again.
Oh, no. I pay for
25?
premium.
Oh,
no,
dude, that's funny. I'm a full-time YouTuber and I don't pay for a premium.
Wow,
I don't know what I'm doing.
Are you homeless also? That's like
I just never thought about it.
What?
Well, I'll watch ads on my own videos and be like, yeah, rack it in, Trev. Rack it in.
No, but there is a good reason to do that, which is that you know about what kind of ads are running on YouTube. I have no idea because I haven't had YouTube Premium for like fucking 8 years or some shit, like since they came out with it. So I don't know what people are advertising. So I'm kind of missing information.
True. I think it varies by video because I did this entrepreneur character and every ad is like, are you 25 at home living with your parents and you want to make it out of the suburbs? It's like that. But then all the other ones are just like random ones. I keep getting this one that's called His Cox and it's like insurance, but I'm like, it's called Cox. What are we doing here? His Cox?
I'm interested in a different type of cock.
That's what I'm saying. So are my fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's interesting is I do think that people want to listen to the podcast portion of everything. All of our biggest podcasts were the ones with like the porn stars. And it's like an hour and some change long. And you would think that people would be like, I'm only here for tits. But it's like the stories they have are so different. And it varies so much how they get into it. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of pioneered the genre, to be totally honest. I feel like I was one of the first people really doing like non-porn podcasts that's interviewing porn stars like Riley Reid back in the day and Remy LaCroix and girls like this. And like, I feel like it is kind of insane to see how normalized it is to have porn stars on your podcast just because it was so.
Well, thank you.
I got such a fucking reaction. Like people thought I was crazy for just treating porn stars like human beings. Like people were genuinely like angry and offended. And I still get a little bit of this from my audience weird, being like, we're here for rappers. We don't want to hear from a porn star. And it's just like, dude, you don't have to click it. You can just keep moving. But I feel like podcasts and YouTube videos and stuff in general have really helped to normalize porn stars because if you watch Logan Paul videos or Mike Majlak's fucking vlogs or whatever, it's like you just get to see a bunch of porn stars acting like human beings and it kind of makes it harder for people to think that they're freaks, you know?
What was the catalyst for you to start having porn stars on? Were you just like, I'm fascinated about like, their backstory type? Hilarious.
This is when he was single, so like It's like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, dude.
No wonder.
Well,
Talk for 50 minutes, huh?
have I ever, back in the day before you, did I ever do a interview with a porn star and then have her end up coming over that night and hooking up? Yes.
oh, I thought you were going to say that. I thought you
I thought the build was wholesome.
Do I
Adam.
understand why they would want to hook up with someone that they just had a really great hour-long conversation with on camera? Yes, I totally
It's a
understand.
recorded date if you think about it.
But it's not. I interviewed a lot of chicks back in the day that didn't hook up with whatever. Like
Yeah.
even back then, I knew this is a thing. You have to be very careful about this.
Yeah,
like, you can't be like
professional.
fucking
You're
4
not
interviews or
2 minutes
whatever.
in, be like, so would you fuck me? Just out of
Yeah.
curiosity. The
Now he
audience
does.
wants to
Now he
know.
does the Patreon, and him and his co-host are always like, "Who would you fuck, him or me?" It's like an everyday conversation for you.
But it is funny because now with Plug Talk, every chick I fucking interview on the No Jumper Patreon or any porn stars or whatever, they kind of inevitably are just like, hey, I'll do Plug Talk with you and Lena if you want. And yeah.
Oh yeah, you probably have a lot of people that hit you up to do this stuff because we had like a few porn stars on just as a podcast, but then like the next day our DMs are just
It was wild.
Oh, yeah.
all blue
As
check
soon
marks
as
like
you
I'm trying to fuck.
let the world know, like you will have OnlyFans
Yeah.
girls on your
Dog,
podcast,
it's-
your DMs will be flooded.
Kazumi
Yeah.
sends the link in the Telegram and all of a sudden it's on.
Yeah, the numbers go up. I
Because
mean,
they're
it's-
looking for any kind of promotion they can get realistically, you know?
Which yeah, I mean, it's like I think it works for both people. We get more views on the podcast, more people find out about the podcast, and more people find out about them. It's like I think that's why a lot of porn stars want to do the show. Somebody was it Kendra Sunderland plugged her fleshlight on the show. Sales were great that week.
But you guys already,
That's so
you guys
crazy.
both have girlfriends.
He does
I do,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah,
So are you dipping and dabbling or what?
here and there. You know, I'm trying to just really focus on career stuff, but a little bit of
Yeah.
both. I'm starting Plug Talk Volume 2, so you know.
Would
It's
you
just-
ever do it yourself?
It's just me jerking off and then doing a podcast.
okay.
Oh, that's a
I'd
great
watch
idea,
that. I'd
though.
watch that.
No, but like, you know, like Theo Vaughn's podcast, he just sits there by himself and
Yeah.
talks sometimes. That would be great. Like the bonus is
You know,
puts his dick on
And
the
then just the
table.
camera
yeah.
just slowly, he's like, anyways.
It would
He
be
puts his
funny
dick
to
on the
have
table
a-
and smashes it with a hammer. Ah.
Post nut jerk off. It would be the saddest podcast ever. You're just sitting there alone. You're like, man, I just want to go to sleep. I don't know what I just watched.
Great.
There was too many people in there. I don't know what was happening. They had sex in a McDonald's.